Hello and good morning to my beautiful NSA community. And thank you, Matt, for that lovely introduction. And thank you to the NSA for letting me tell my little old journey that my stutter has taken me on. When I was first asked to speak to you all today, I thought, what do they expect me to say at this young age? But then I thought of all the years that I spent alone with my stutter, hoping and wishing that one day I would grow out of it or it would just disappear altogether. I thought about the lengths I went to not stutter, which include, but are not limited to, on and off speech therapy from the ages of 4 to 18, pretending I had forgotten any word I knew I would stutter on and making the other person say it for me, walking out of the room when I was next to go around the room and introduce myself, getting a very expensive anti-stuttering device that I then lost in the woods on my high school senior retreat. In short, my life until finding the NSA was being confident that I would find a way to not stutter anymore. And I thought that maybe something in my story could inspire or resonate with someone. So I'll take you into my world as a little neurodivergent Black girl who stuttered in the suburbs of Detroit. I've been aware that I stuttered and that it wasn't normal since kindergarten, when I would get taken to a special room with a really nice lady who would make me say all these random words over and over again and would give me some fruity smelling markers when I left. I didn't think it was weird until the other kids would ask me where I went and why I went there and why I got the cool markers and erasers, even though they were probably just jealous. My answers were always, I don't know. And I didn't. I didn't know why I got taken to a room. I didn't know why people would ask me, why did I talk like that? My mom told me I had a speech disfluency. Well, she might as well have been speaking German to me because I did not know what that meant. But that's what I told everyone else. But it made me so embarrassed, and I hated answering those questions. So I figured that if I just stopped talking so much, I wouldn't have to deal with those questions. I guess you could say I was a covert stutterer. But if you tricked me into talking to you long enough, there was nothing covert about it. I like to think of the journey my stutter has taken me on as a road. Sometimes you come to a dead end, and sometimes you have to make a turn. Or sometimes there's even a fork in the road. The first dead end I came to in my stuttering journey was finding the NSA. And I don't mean a dead end in a bad way. It just forced me to make a change. At my first conference when I was 18 in 2019, I went to a disclosure workshop that changed my whole perspective on disclosing my stutter to others. That workshop took me back to when I was probably about 13 years old or so, and I went to see a new speech therapist. He was a very large man who sat me down and told me I needed to tell everyone I knew that I stuttered. Which to a 13-year-old girl who just wants to make some friends and be like everybody else, that was terrifying to me. He said that everyone should know that I stutter, to the point where my friends should introduce me to new people and say that I stutter in their introduction. I walked out of that office looking like one of those kids from Beyond Scared Straight. Okay, I was terrified. And the whole time he was talking, I was thinking, I'm definitely not gonna do what this man is telling me to do. I'm gonna go to my mom and tell her to find me a new speech therapist that can actually help me. And while he did give me some good advice, it was definitely not what I needed at the time. So fast forward back to the disclosure workshop. When I walked into the room, and the presenter said, we're gonna go around the hotel and talk to people and tell them that we stutter. I was like, okay, maybe I still have time to go to the door and run out of here and no one's gonna notice. But I stayed, and we did in fact go around the hotel telling people that we stuttered. I felt like the most afraid one in the whole group. And I wanted to watch everyone else do it first, just to see, if they got struck by lightning or if the earth opened up beneath their feet, because I figured that's what would happen, right? Well, honestly, much to my surprise, none of that happened for some reason. And I was like, okay, now I actually am gonna have to do this. Everyone encouraged me, and I walked up to a man at the concierge desk, and I have no idea what kind of look I had on my face, and he was probably just as scared as I was walking up to him. I told him, just like everyone else just had, that I was the person who stuttered, and we were just going around the hotel letting people know that we stuttered, and I just wanted him to know that. And he was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. I'm glad to see you guys doing that. That must take a lot of courage. And I took a giant sigh of relief. I felt like I had been holding my breath for 18 years up until that point, saying to someone that I was a person who stuttered. It really sounds like the most cliche thing, but my mind was boggled. I was like, okay, wait, let me try this again, because maybe that was just a fluke. And I kept going up to people and telling them that I stuttered. And the earth didn't swallow me up right then and there, and a meteorite didn't strike the hotel, even though the power was out. And then I went home, and I went to college. And in my first class I had on my freshman year, on the first day in class, I told everyone that I stuttered, and everything was fine. I felt so much more comfortable in class talking to my teachers and talking out loud. And so I've just recently realized that I've always had this confidence inside of me. Now, don't get it mistaken, because before I did have the confidence. I had confidence that my stutter would go away. And my life would finally be perfect. But at that conference, it's like a switch flipped in my brain. And I turned that confidence and getting rid of my stutter into confidence in myself with my stutter. I don't remember where I heard this recently, but I heard in the last few months that it's okay to stutter in every space you're in. And sometimes there isn't enough stuttering in the space that you're in. And sometimes you guys need to go into the space and spice it up and add a little bit of stuttering, okay? That's what we need to do. And that's honestly kept me going for the past few months. Now I'm still on this road and this journey of stuttering, okay? There's twists and there's turns, and sometimes I even have to reverse, and shoot, sometimes I even need to parallel park. But now I know that there's millions of other people who go through the same things I do every day. And I know that there's all of you I get to see here every year, and I know it'll be okay. While I'm up here telling you all my story, what keeps me coming back is that most of you can probably relate to my story. And I love hearing you all's stories, because there's something so beautiful about having a mutual understanding without actually having to say what we're actually talking about, which is stuttering. I still have things from my childhood that make me feel like I should be silent, but I've spent so much time hiding myself and hiding my light away from the world when I know I was put here for a reason. And the things that still hurt, the things I get reminded of when someone asks me one of those dumb questions, I know you guys know the questions I'm talking about, okay? I don't even feel like repeating it. Instead of letting those things get to me, I make art. So I can turn those ugly things that people have said to me into something beautiful. And not to be sappy, but that's really what life is about. Part of why I love art is because I can convey what I'm trying to say without saying anything. Art has such a powerful impact on society and how others see the world. Historically, when a culture collapses, sometimes all that's left is the art that they made. So here I am trying to make art into everything I do and bringing all of my intersectional identities to the forefront and taking those communities along with it. It's every day choosing and deciding to be confident. And that's what I do every single day I wake up. Like I said, it's still a journey. I have my days too, and sometimes you need to fake it before you can make it. But all I can do is hope that the beauty I make speaks to someone else and keeps them going, keeps them focused on their dreams, and lets them know that nothing, not even something as silly as a little stutter, can stop me or them from doing what we were meant to do. That little girl that I was, who just wanted a speech therapist to fix her, could have never pictured myself where I am today, talking to this large group of people and stuttering while doing it. Confidently. This was never really an option for me, but now it's my only option. Stuttering subconsciously took over who I was as a child. I kept hoping and wishing for something that was never going to come. So I made a new reality, a reality where I get to be confident whether I'm stuttering or I'm fluent. And no one gets to have the privilege of making me feel ashamed about myself and how I communicate with the world. I had to learn to love the parts of myself that other people still didn't understand, and maybe they never will. Thank you.